Hey, I'm Scott,
And I'm Chris.
and this is Doxologic, where we help you think with your Bible.
All right. Question number 2. What do you think about Harry Potter? I have heard that the lady who wrote the series is a self-proclaimed witch.
Haven't heard that one.
Yeah. I don't
Also
think I've
not a
heard that.
follower
Yeah.
myself of the series. Didn't read any books, watched one movie. And when I watched like the third movie,
Sure.
to which I was lost at the beginning and at the end. So that's my history with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Any more history? Are you guys, did you dive into
read
it?
them to.
I was the target audience for Harry Potter books.
Really?
Were you
yeah.
waiting in the big lines and stuff
No,
at Borders?
I think I was just the right age group. I was
Right
the age
age.
group it was written for
Okay.
when it came out.
I read it with my younger brother to like build a relationship way back in the day, and now my kids are enjoying reading it as
really?
well.
Okay.
Well, we started with C.S. Lewis, really got into that.
Yeah.
We're reading Lord of the Rings together, really enjoying that, and then Harry Potter was another one of those series, and so the J.K. Rowling thing. I've never heard that. And there's nothing to me to indicate that she is a witch herself. On the contrary, what I've actually seen is she's made some pretty strong stands for what I would call a Judeo-Christian morality or value system that has just put her under a whole ton of heat
Yeah.
for different issues revolving around LGBTQ stuff, different issues around, I think, abortion as well. She's taken some strong positions and taken a lot of heat and used her platform I'm not trying to defend her.
Sure.
But as much as I know about her, she's definitely made some strong stands that I would say would be unto the general good of humanity. Not that that's a reason to read her book or not read her book, but simply I just don't think that's accurate as far as I understand it. And then Harry Potter in and of itself, there I guess they're more asking about J.K. Rowling because of her being a witch, whether or not you can read it or not.
Sure. I feel like there's like a big category of things like this in the world where it's like something could exist and the person who created it lives a questionable life that's not Christian. And so what do you do with those? I think we've covered similar topics for like a violation of the conscience and Christian liberty type things. So I feel like this would fall in that category.
And where she got a lot of heat was against some of the trans stuff. In fact, I was trying to look at the phrase that's used for my understanding is self-identified feminist, as not a believer from what I understand. However, knows that there's a line biologically and is not willing to cross it, as quite a few feminists have come up against the hateful and vindictive realities when they don't go all the way to the trans supportive community. They're called a TERF. I've seen her called this before, a trans exclusionary radical feminist, and she's painted in that way. I don't even believe that's the case, but she stood her own. They tried to cancel her, all this stuff, and to a degree of success, but also she really never backed down. So not the witch thing that I know anything about, but I don't know enough about her to make any other comments other than I know that she stood firm in some ways that were surprising when almost nobody in Hollywood was doing that.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's about all we can say about that. Essentially, the question is, what do you think about Harry Potter? So I think you guys nailed it.
Some people have really strong stay away from it. It's wicked. It's all this stuff.
magic.
I've never known enough to develop. It does have magic, right? But I'm not one who knew enough to.
The problem is
an
if you
opinion.
start doing that, then you gotta dump a lot of other things as well.
Right.
You gotta dump Lord of the Rings. You gotta dump C.S. Lewis, Chronicles of Narnia, because there's magic involved in that as well. So it's like, is there a way to have? I think you should be a fiction Christian. As a Christian, be a fiction reader, not just a nonfiction reader, because it helps develop our imaginations and helps us to view God's world, which he created in the enchanted way that he's made the world to be. And I think fiction helps us to expand our understanding of that in some way, in some good, positive ways. I'm not defending reading Harry Potter. To be honest, I think there's freedom. You can read Harry Potter, and I think that can be along your conscience completely legit, and you have freedom to do so. And if your conscience is bound by something in Harry Potter, I can understand why you wouldn't read it, but I'm not dividing the line on Harry Potter and saying, as a pastor, I would tell you not to read it or to read it. I think you have freedom, but I wouldn't violate your conscience, and I wouldn't do anything that's not from faith.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Doxa Logic, a podcast by Doxa Church in Rockland, California. To learn more, visit us online at doxa.church.